final prep into his Derby and Preakness hero, Big Brown. He joins us live via telephone this morning from New York. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rick Dutrow. Rick, Mark, and Mike welcoming you back to Down the Stretch.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Rick, am I right? Are you breathing a huge sigh of relief after last Saturday's race?
Well, I can't really. I was kind of expecting Big Brown to run a big race, and I guess you could say that, Mark. I felt really good after his race, and everything went as according to plan.
Well, Rick, we are about to take a look back at the Monmouth Stakes, and again, for our audience, Big Brown is number 4. Rick, we pointed out earlier this was the second race in a row that he broke on his toes. He seized command early. Your thoughts on this performance by Big Brown?
I was happy with his race. He hooked some speed early on. The other speed horse kind of blew the first turn, which may have helped us some. And he relaxed pretty well with Kent going down the backside. And when it came time to start running, he dug in, and I guess it's what we really wanted to see. He just showed up in every way, so we were very happy with it.
Rick, did you want to be on the lead? Did you say to Kent, let's just get there and have him come and chase us?
Well, I kind of said, Kent, if he breaks good, let's just keep him right there. I don't know why we have to go taking him back. It worked out good. I didn't necessarily know or think that he was going to be on the lead, but he broke good, and the other horse blew the first turn. The other speed horse kind of left us alone on the lead. So, Big Brown can do most anything in a race. He can go to the front, and he can stalk, set in behind horses. So it's not like he's a need-to-lead kind of horse,
Rick, I mentioned second race in a row that he's really broken very, very well. Have you done something in the morning in training to make him more comfortable in the gate?
No, he's never been an issue around the gate. He's been a pleasure every time, whenever anybody wants to do anything with him. He's just ready, willing, and able, and I've never seen an issue with him in the gate, so we know we haven't done any extra work on him. Sometimes he breaks really good, and sometimes he might break a little bit sluggish, but we're not going to concentrate a whole lot on his gait. He should be fine for his next start. I'm not going to go messing around a bunch with him in the gate. I might just stand him once and back him out, but that's about it. He doesn't need a whole lot of gate work.
Rick, they turn for home. Proudinski's got absolute dead aim on him. At any point, did you think you were in trouble?
Yeah, I thought that we were in trouble turning for home. We went pretty. I really don't. It's hard for me to get a real good gauge on how the grass course was that day. It was the only grass race running. It had been raining. I don't know if it favored Big Brown's kind of speed. I don't know if it favored closers. I don't even know if Big Brown was crazy about it. Seems like Big Brown would rather run on a much faster, harder turf course. But still, we got the job done with the way the grass was. But I thought they had him turned for home, and he just showed another dimension to the racing world, which we were very, very happy to see. Just wouldn't let anybody get by him, and hopefully we see much of the same next time.
What did Kent have to say to you after the race, Rick?
He was very happy with the horse. He was very, very happy that we got the job done. Him and Kent got along well in the race, so he was as happy as he could be. Kent really likes the horse, so he was as happy as he could be.
Earlier in the show, both Michael and I mentioned that we thought this effort was very, very good, but I'm about to play devil's advocate. You have said that you feel Big Brown is better on turf than he is on dirt, and that's saying a lot for a Kentucky Derby and Preakness winner. So if he's better on grass than he is on dirt, he won by a neck over a group of solid older horses. Let's face it, Proudinski, Shakis, Silvertree, they're very nice, solid older horses, but they're not going to frighten anybody away. What do you tell the naysayers who are saying he only won by a neck?
Well, I really don't have to say anything to them. They watch the race, and they can draw their own conclusions. I can only go by this. I've had Cornelio breeze Big Brown on the grass and on the dirt, Cornelio knows he's better on the grass. I've had Edgar Prado breeze the horse on the dirt and on the grass. Edgar will tell you he's a better grass horse. Then we go to Rudy Rodriguez, who's my main man in the morning. He knows Big Brown, trains better, breezes better on the grass. Then I'm going to leave Michelle for last. She knows Big Brown, breezes better, trains better on the grass. So I have to draw my conclusions about what my people say and what I see. When I seen Big Brown breeze on the grass at Aqueduct, not his last breeze before the race, but the one before that, it just was it's the most excited I've ever been in my life training horses in the morning. The look and the feel he gave me was chilling. So it doesn't matter to me that people question it. It's okay. We might not ever see Big Brown run on the grass again. It's not an issue. We might not ever see him run on the dirt again. Very well could be the Polytrack is going to be his last race. So it doesn't matter to me what a whole lot of people think or say about it. You know, I just am under the impression Big Brown's a better grass horse than dirt horse. And if people think different, it's fine. I can certainly see their point of view. I mean, he won the Preakness in the Derby and the Florida Derby and the Haskell in the dirt. So it's good. It's a tough call, but I'm glad that we're having a lot of questions about which one he is actually better on. It just shows that he's a tremendous horse. He can do grass. He can do dirt. Hopefully he can do the Polytrack at Santa Anita, and then we'll be as happy as we can be, you know?
Rick, how close in your mind to ideal as a final prep for the Breeders' Cup Classic was his effort in the Monmouth Stakes?
Well, I mean, I got to tell you guys, I told everyone around the horse the 4 or 5 days leading up to the Monmouth race, Big Brown seemed to have went into a little bit of a zone where his mind was just focused on what's up next. I could see it 3-4 days out, especially when we shipped him to Monmouth. You could just see he didn't want no playing around. He was only interested in getting on the track and doing his thing, which he did, and he came out of the race good. And I have to say that you couldn't have drawn a better script for me to head a horse into his next race, which is the biggest race of his life coming up. And if he wins it, he's going to get Horse of the Year. He's going to get a ton of money. He's going to get Polytrack, grass, and dirt all in 1 year. It's just such a important race for him to win that right now I'm as happy as I can be to be able to deal with what's in front of me, which is Big Brown, plenty of time, plenty of breezing to go to get to his big race. I'm as happy as I can be about things.
Rick, talk to our audience about his training schedule between now and Breeders' Cup Day.
Well, I'm only going to go through the basic motions. I'll breeze him on the grass as long as New York Racing will let me, and they've been very good about that. I'll breeze him on the grass when it's time for him to breeze. I'll keep him on the grass. We'll ship out there, probably 3 or 4 days out, and I'll do all his preparation work right here at Aqueduct where I can see and know exactly what's happening. And then we'll just put him on a plane and go out there and run him. I think that's the best way for us to go, as opposed to me shipping him out there early and going through all that stuff and not knowing what's going on. Plus, Rudy got hurt, and I can't. It's kind of tough to leave all the horses behind when Rudy's not there. So I'm just going to play it safe. I like our plan. Just get everything ready right where we're at. Aqueduct is my place. So I'm just going to play it safe and sound. We don't need anything special, just all basic stuff, and hopefully we'll be ready to run.
All right. Well, I'm going to chat with you in a couple of moments about one of your Breeders' Cup winners, but later this afternoon at Philadelphia Park in the Cotillion, Rick will be sending out By the Light, and for a discussion on that, Philly, here's Michael.
Rick, we're glad to speak with you again this morning, and I know our audience appreciates it. And this is a pretty nice New York-bred filly named By the Light that you're going to go out this afternoon with the Cotillion. Rick, when you were bringing her along last year for her debut, did she impress you as you got her ready?
I got to tell you, it wasn't nothing like it is today. I mean, she may be a little bit on the smallish kind of side of. But I'll tell you what, for the last week, I've just been so impressed with the way this filly looks, the way that she's going, the way that she is. She wasn't as impressive going into her first race as she is right now going into this race. I had Prado lined up, and I told him, well, I think she's okay, and they thought they had a better horse in the race, and Barahana was around. We just put him up, and she just did her thing, and from then on, you've had to keep an eye on her because she's been so attractive to where you want to send her next. It's, we did the Finger Lakes races. She beat the boys. She went to the lead with Rudy at Finger Lakes, and then she come from way back going 2 turns at Delta Down. So she's the kind of horse that you just put in a race, and she's going to figure out how to get there.
I like that a lot. Rick, we often see, especially with fillies, that if they were pretty good in their first year of racing, sometimes they don't come back good at 3, but that is not the case with her. I mean, she just seems to get better. How has she changed from last year to this year?
Just more mature, more stronger, that kind of stuff. Nothing else in her personality. She's always been the same way, kind of a fidgety kind of filly in the morning. She wants to get out of her stall and go to work. Until you get that done with her, she's always weaving and, making you pay attention to her. She wants to get out of her stall and just go do her thing. After she trains, she's so much better. She relaxes in her stall. She's been that way all along, and she's developed into a really nice filly. She don't want you fooling around with her a lot. Just kind of, let me do my thing, leave me alone, I'll be fine. That's the kind of filly she is. And we shipped her over there this morning. We got her out and walked her for a half hour before she left, and she seemed like she was fine to go through what she's got to go through today. Me and Michelle and Molly's going to drive over there and saddle her up. Samantha's flying in from California to watch her.
That's great.
So we're excited about today,
That is great. That's great. Rick, I want to ask you a question about the Prioress. She went into that race unbeaten, and, to my eye, she was a bit closer to the pace than usual against Indian Blessing, no less. Her only career loss, what did you think of that race?
That's not her game when she goes to the lead like that, but we broke from the inside, and she did break good. So instead of trying to take them back when they're on the inside, and she does have speed, kind of our hands were tied, and Dagger just kept her on the pace, which probably was the smart thing to do for that day. And she dug in and gave it everything she had. I mean, she's not going to beat Indian Blessing. She's not supposed to beat Indian Blessing, but she gave it all she had. And we were as happy as we could be with her that day,
Right. By the Light is coming off a victory at Saratoga in the Union Avenue over Older Fillies. We're going to be looking at it right now for audience. She's number 7 here on the screen. You said a few minutes ago she'll find a way to win, and she sure did here, didn't she, Rick? Talk about this race.
Well, she got in a lot of trouble turning for home. I really don't know what happened. I think so. I had another horse in the race called Summer Palace. It looked like she took a couple bad steps, which may have scared the horse on the outside of her. And that one just came out in front of us when we were making our move, and Nader just had to go crazy wide with her. But the filly did her business like she always does. She put her head down, and she turned it on the last 1/8 of a mile and just got the job done again.
She really did. Rick, my final question before I send you back to Mark. Last year, this is an interesting pattern for me. Last year, you sprinted her 3 times before going to the Delta 2 turns, and you've got sort of the same scenario now. So I'm assuming that you're feeling pretty good about things as you head to the cotillion today.
I also like our post, and I like that the big filly's spotting us a lot of weight. I'm not hoping to beat her. If you give me a second place finish right now, I'll just tell them to send the filly back home. We won't even race her. I'll take second money in a minute right now. But then again, it's Philadelphia Park. A lot of horses seem to want to like that track. I don't know if we will or not. Our filly's run all over the country, and she's winning every track. So is Proud Spell, but she is spotting us a ton of weight. We do have a little bit of advantage. We break on the outside of her. I'm hoping for a big run, but I'm not hoping to beat Proud Spell. She's as nice as they come, that filly.
Well, for my part, I really enjoyed speaking with you this morning, Rick, and here's Mark for a wrap-up.
Just one final question, Rick, before we let you go. Got to talk to you about your defending Breeders' Cup Mile hero, Kip DeVille. Our audience is going to watch as he turns into the stretch of the Woodbine Mile, second on the outside. Rick, I don't know, shockingly ran 5th in here. What the heck happened?
I'm under the impression that he did not like that track that day. It had rained the night before, the morning of, And that's the only thing I can come up with. He trained like an absolute superstar going into that race. I absolutely loved him, thought he was going to put on a show, but he just never showed up. I'm going to blame it on the track. He's come out of the race. He's been pissed off. He's been mad. He's been angry. And he's just starting to come out of that. He was a little bit full of himself this morning. He's not usually like that. He's always well within himself. But he knows something bad happened up there, and he knew he had a lot to do with it. So he's very upset, but he is starting to come out of it now. So, as a matter of fact, I'm breezing him a little tomorrow just to get edge off. Cornelius is going to come breezing tomorrow for us. It's just going to take a little edge off of him because he's been full of himself since the race. I haven't never seen him like that, but that's okay. He's going to come right back to himself after he breathes tomorrow. I'm sure we'll be fine. We can't wait to go out there. He's 2 for 2 at Santa Anita. He loves that mile. I'm as confident as I can be with Kip DeVille.
Rick, as always, we appreciate your time. Thank you so very much
Sure
for having
do.
joined us this morning on Down the Stretch. Congratulations with Big Brown. Good luck with By the Light this afternoon, and we'll talk to you again very soon.
Thanks, and good luck, guys.
Good
Okay,
luck,
Rick
Rick.
Dutrow, ladies and gentlemen, we are up to our next break on our September 20th edition of the show. Thank you so much for having joined us. When Michael and I return, we will welcome in a first-time guest. Mr. David Duggan, who also had a terrific Saratoga meet, is going to saddle a very nice filly, Port Bonheur, for this afternoon's Gallant Bloom. As we go to this break, the Ashley T. Cole State Bred's going 9 furlongs over a soft turf. Can you call the winner? Tom Durkin couldn't. So we'll take a look at the Ashley T. Cole going to the break.